Hello, happy people. I hope you are having an amazing day today. I thought it would be fun for me to knock out one of my favorite RPGs of all time for the consoles and for the computers, PC specifically, and that sort of a thing and such. It's my favorite game in the Might and Magic series, Might and Magic 6, The Mandate of Heaven. It was released in April 30th, 1998. Where folks, it was made by New World Computing and released by 3DO and so forth. So I thought it would be fun for me to knock out this thing, fun throwback and so forth for my video games that I do. Typically the older video games for this channel. I actually reviewed Wasteland, which I think is a little bit better, and so forth from the previous decade and such. I've also done a lot of other things. I did the Pathfinder After the Righteous extended edition review, that sort of thing too, as well as other things. I like to do that here on this Wednesday. So you can tell by this cover art by Larry Elmore, this game was taking its fantasy roots seriously. Loved it lots. So this has a game rankings critic review of 85%, and that's overall. That's from all the different. That's an average. A variety of different critic sites. It made many award lists too, or best ofs and that sort of thing. So it's definitely warmly regarded at the time and today too, and so forth. It's a first-person open-world RPG. You're a group party, and you're in turn-based or real time. You can choose, and you can also change it from one to the other. I like to explore in real time, but then as soon as I see bad guys, I go to turn-based. And do turn-based mode there, but we'll choose otherwise, and so forth. So you choose a group of 4 players, not 6 like the previous ones in the series. I think that's it. From the beginning, a number of different classes, 6 of them, like druids and archers. Then you can level them up. The inventory system was, so basically you would level them up and you had skills. You had to get various skills levels and so forth. So you started with novice, but then once you leveled a skill up to 4, you could get expert, and then once you leveled up another few, you could get up the next one. You have to find somebody to pay to level you up, and so forth. And then you have to find a master at that level, and then pay them to get leveled up. This gives a cost to leveling up to warrior to fighters and that sort of a thing. In addition to the traditional ones in RPGs at this time, for wizards that would typically blow through the later levels, but have spells they have to buy, right? Or scrolls they have to inscribe. Well, here you got to buy those too, sure, but then you also just got to level up. You got to pay to level up, which increases it over time, and then also, so that I think that's a brilliant gold sink, and it puts a lot of pressure on the party. Like, how do you want to divvy up your stuff? Love that lots. One of my favorite things in this game is the inventory system, which was very, very unique. It's basically the inventory system here, rather than just saying how much weight do you have or how much are you assigned to each player. Instead, it would have each player would have a box, a large box with a grid on it. And you can move items around or automatically get them too, and then not even bother with it. And so you could go into them and then try to rearrange them to maximize space. Kind of like packing a suitcase. I think it's very realistic. It was also the first game in my mind to have realistically populated dungeons like snakes and rats in the sewers in the city that you'll come across later on, and so forth, even though by then you'll just blow through them. But it just makes sense to be running into just regular rats and regular snakes, right? Not like, Medusa or something weird, right, that you might run into in other video games, because it's that time of the game, right? And it's an open world game. You can go anywhere you want to go, do anything you want to do, attack anything you want to attack, cast anything you want to cast, right? If you can level up, you can level up. And so forth. But it'll be hard. You'll get to places you'll be like, I can't defeat these guys. You can cast a fly spell and then literally fly around the map, great stuff. Or you can cast a jump spell and then move while you're jumping. So it's got, so to my mind, this has bad timing. The game was warmly received by everybody, fans and everybody, calling it one of the best fantasy RPGs ever printed, and so forth. The classic ones yet hadn't really been made this well in years, and so forth. And until this, you could do all the best stuff. And you wanted to do it in an RPG with no hand holding, and it was great graphics too. I remember spending all finals in college as soon as it came out. And that's in, remember this is at least in April, so that May. Yeah, I was playing this on the PC, playing it and so forth. I regularly go black and play it again. I do love it lots. I did copy the soundtrack from my disc and so forth, so that way I could go ahead and take care of it that way and so forth. So why is this bad timing, right? Well, let's talk about it. Let's do a little bit deeper dive. Everyone's talking about the M&M, the Might and Magic rather, gaming and classic RPGs renaissance, right? They were all talking about that great for like 6 months, and then until later that year in December, and when Baldur's Gate 1 was released on December 21st, 1998. Then MM6 and My Native Heaven was forgotten, but in many ways it's actually the better game, right? With a better world and gameplay. But in many ways, the BG1 just banished it to the dungeon, never to return. 10 out of 10 if I could give it 12 out of 12 or 11 out of 12. I'm sorry, 12 out of 12 I could give it 12 out of 10. I could wait hours or 11 or 11 and a half. Or even 10.1, but I can't. It's got to be 10 out of 10 for you folks. So that's my review, just briefly, of the Might and Magic 6, the Mandate of Heaven, from 98 by 3DO and New World Computing for you folks. Great stuff. Absolutely classic and level odds. I think it's definitely strong stuff. But the problem is that, again, Baldur's Gate 1 sort of relegated it. For example, I was looking online after I did this on Facebook to see what if there was a Mandate of Heaven a Facebook group to post this review in, and it's like 265 people. Right? I mean, it's not even 500 people or a couple thousand, right? It just didn't have the wherewithal and the sticking power, right? Some of the other things out there. It's a forgotten game, right? And that's sad because of how good it was, how warmly received it was, and how strong it has been making. It's made top of lists that year, or overall in top video games. It's one of my top video games. Well done. I love it lots. Absolute classic to my mind. It's the Mandate of Heaven. Strong stuff, but it's been forgotten, which is sad. And again, it's not a perfect game. No game ever is. But I think a 10 out of 10 is a sufficiently strong review for it. So have you played it? And if so, what did you think about it? And would you agree or disagree about 10 out of 10? Would you give it lower? It's fine. Please try to keep the plot spoiler free. I didn't talk about the plot, right? I just talked about the video game mechanics and that sort of thing in the world. And that sort of thing. I didn't actually talk about the game, the spoilers. So please, I know this is from 98, early in the first half of the year. So you might be like, I should be able to spoil that. And if you, right, just don't, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that probably haven't even heard of this game, right? I'll love it for them. I want to be there for them if they want to go out and check it out themselves. And so there you are. That's the Mandate of Heaven for you folks. Now it does have what I call the Heroes of Might and Magic curse. Ultimately, this world is revealed to be a sci-fi world, which is a great super secretly. I think that a lot of people that might be going to it new. Now, if you've played a lot of Might and Magic or other things like Ultima, right, it was actually really pretty common in the early eras, like the zine series and such. But it was actually. But by this time, I think a lot of people were like, "Wait, what?" And so forth. It feels like a bit of a bait and switch. But there you are. Kind of like Pern, the Dragon Riders of Pern. Alrighty, so there you are for you folks. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. If you like this video, why not hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon to be notified of my videos. I do 7 videos of these a week. You can also go back and check out, and also share with your friends and go back and watch my previous video games for you folks. Again, I try to do one of those. And then on Monday, I do reviews of RPG or war game stuff. I did the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons review of G2, the Glacial Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl by Gary Gygax in 78. So next week, I'll be doing G3, the Hall of the Fire Giant King. And then after that, I'll be doing, but I like to do those sorts of things, those older things too. And then on Saturday, I dedicate to the lost storytelling genre of storytellings, and so forth. I'll be doing the Romans from 65 by Doctor Who. I've done Flash Gordon. I've done, the Adventures of Captain Marvel. I've done Spider's Web just recently, and The Shadow too. So if you like that stuff, check it out. And then also on Mondays, since Fridays, I also do. Last Friday, I did my top 5 of silent films and so forth, and 3 reviews a week of older things in the era, like science fiction, fantasy, and horror that this channel really sort of wants to deep dive into, and so forth. That's the passion. It's also the name of this channel, The Worst Thing About New Books, which is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Schubert, who says that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old ones. Right? There's definitely some older stuff out there. And that's heavily influential. In this case, you're playing because of the game, but you get the idea, right? Still heavily influential, no matter forgot about. Because in our passion for the new, right, we sort of forgotten the old and so forth. So thank you so much, for taking some time out of your day and investing in watching my videos, right? Because we all have so many things that are happening, right, in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spend this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.